All right, so time is 4:53 in the morning, and I feel like building stuff. So let's get to the point here. Today we're going to be building a boost leak test kit. We're going to build it from scratch, and then we're going to test it on my car, my E36 Turbo, and we're going to see if we can find any leaks. So let's dive right in. All right, so I know that there's a lot of different ways to do this, but this is kind of just my plan for now. So as you can see, I have intercooler piping. One's 3-inch, one's 2.5-inch. I already have them cut and prepped. I also have these plates up here ready to go. This was just some plate that I had lying around, and just cut it and shaped it to fit. So I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and weld these out, and then after that we can go ahead and grab these. This is just valve stems for a car. They're just universal ones from Amazon, and drilling a hole through one of them, inserting that, and then we can go ahead and pressurize the system with my portable tire inflator. You can really use whatever. That's just what I have. And then from there, we can monitor the system, see if it holds pressure with just a regular tire gauge. And we could also check it for leaks with some soapy water. So it's simple, but it should work just fine. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start welding out the plates to the piping.
All right, mister, what do you
Let's get it.
think you're doing?
Alright, and the welding is done. So they're still really hot. So I just went ahead and manually pulse welded all the way around on both of them. I didn't feel like I needed to use any filler rod on this one. I think the hole is just fine. So what's next now is just to drill out the hole and install one of the valve stems on here, and then we can go ahead and move on to the car. So let's do that next.
All right, mister, what do you think you're doing?
Doesn't have to be perfect, but try to get it as nice as we can here. Alright, the valve stem is in. So I just tightened it down. It's not on there super tight, it does spin a bit, but hopefully it won't leak. I guess once we have everything pressurized, I can just spray with some soapy water and we can see if it'll leak or not. but it's on there, and I think now we can go ahead and install this in the car.
All right, mister.
Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and pressurize the system here. I'm only gonna do like 10 to 12 psi. Even that's a lot. These plugs, gotta be very careful, because if you don't tighten them down all the way, they will go flying. Trust me, that just happened to me earlier. All right, so now I got it. Oh my god, that's a problem. So be very careful with that. But yeah, other than that, I think it's time we pump it full of air and see if it's leaking. Let's do it. Alright, so now that I have everything hooked up here, I already went ahead and pressurized the system. As you can see, I actually don't need the small tire pressure reader. This thing will just tell me. I just keep it hooked up. It's saying I'm at 9 psi. I only inflated it up to 10, just to play it safe. I don't want to go too high and risk popping this off again. It should be fine. I think if we had a major leak, we'd be losing pressure fast anyways, so we don't need that much pressure built up in the system. But now the first thing is just to see if we can hear any leaks. If we did, it'd be really easy to tell. It'd be like a really loud like squeaking sound. You'd really be able to hear if it was leaking air. It'd be pretty loud. So I think now what I'm going to do is go ahead and start spraying everything down with water. Just hit all the welds, hit the intercooler here, hit the couplers here, and see if we can spot any leaks, any really small minor leaks. But it's already a good sign, the fact that we're maintaining pressure here. That means that for the most part the system is secure. So I'm still going to go ahead and spray everything down though, so let's get that done. Alright, so I sprayed everything down. As you can see, I just sprayed it all along the welds here and down here. Sprayed this coupler, sprayed the intercooler as well, and the other side all the way up here. I'll try to stay away from the cap, by the way. You never know if it can go shooting out, but looks like everything is holding well. If there was a small leak, we'd see a bunch of bubbles just forming up, and I couldn't find anything like that. And I also left the system pressurized for a while just to monitor it, and it looks like it's staying at 9 psi. So I think it's safe to say that the system is good and it's holding air. So I think this was a successful test. We passed, and I'm happy. Alright, and that was the boost leak test done. It's not too complicated, really. So the pros to this test really is just seeing if the couplers are leaking, or if the intercooler is leaking, or if the welds, if they're holding like they should. It really just tests the piping, the intercooler, the couplings, all that. As you've seen when I was doing it, and I filled it to 15 psi, one of the caps did pop off on me. So I would just be very careful. I don't think you need to turn it up that high. I think really, having between like 5 to 10 psi should be plenty. You'll know if it's leaking a lot of air anyways with just that much amount of pressure. It also says something about the clamps that I'm using personally. Don't recommend using eBay clamps or intercooler setups, those kits that they have. Don't recommend those at all. But yeah, and another thing I want to mention is this isn't the perfect test. It's good for testing part of the system, but it doesn't really have but you can't really test the whole system. You can't test like the intake manifold, all the lines that hook up to the intake manifold. I think for that, honestly, it'd probably be better if you went ahead and did a smoke test. Just hook up a smoke machine to the whole system, and I think that would be a more effective way of finding smaller leaks, like within the lines and within the rest of the intake system, is just doing a proper smoke test. But I think what we did is fine, just to test the piping itself and the intercooler. Like I said, all the welds and the couplings and stuff like that. So this is a valid test. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about that. Hopefully this video wasn't too long, and hopefully it was useful to some of you out there. Oh, and one final thing I want to mention here. I don't know what my next video is going to be yet. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. I have some ideas, but I guess you guys will just have to wait and see till it comes out. Hopefully in a week from now. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to wrap the video up here. So until next time, take care.